Meantime, police in New York are still looking for a sixth suspect seen in that disturbing video of a 15-year-old girl being beaten by a group of other girls at a McDonald's. A fifth suspect, this 16-year-old girl, turned herself in yesterday and was charged as an adult. And now questions are mounting about the punishment that she and the others will face if those customers who stood there videotaping the fight should also be held responsible. Joining me is Faith Jenkins. She's an MSNBC legal analyst and host of Judge Faith. And welcome to you.
Thank you.
We were just saying, you know, the video is just horrible. The whole situation is. And most of these girls, including the 16-year-old ringleader in this attack, they're being charged as adults.
Right.
Is this a standard charge for a crime of this type?
When you have a crime with this level of violence in New York, it is a standard charge, especially for the 16-year-old. Now, I understand there's a 14-year-old that's being charged as a juvenile, and that's an option that the prosecutor may take in the case. But when you look at the 16-year-old who's the alleged ringleader and you look at her criminal history, just look at the number of arrests she's had in the past 8 months. This is her 6th arrest. 3 of them are for assaults, 2 against family members, 1 last month for stabbing her brother, and another last November for assaulting her grandmother. So with that kind of violence and that kind of history and with the level of brutality we're witnessing on this tape, they're not going to put her in the juvenile system.
What concerns you most about those that are being charged here, especially this ringleader? I mean, is there a gang mentality as well? Do you worry that they're affiliated with organized groups?
It concerns any time you have the level of violence concerns me, and it's the fact that they're all kids, right? And that you have kids committing this kind of violence and brutality somewhere along the lines. When I had these kids, these teenagers committing violent crimes when I was a prosecutor here in Manhattan, you know, somewhere along the lines the adults in their lives failed them. How did they get to this point? What is their history? That's a question we have to ask. We don't want to keep imprisoning 16-year-olds. We want to find out what the problem is and try to intervene. And then you have the other kids in the background, which is equally disturbing to me. Not a single person in that McDonald's that witnessed this event called 911. The workers did, but no one witnessing the event.
You know why? Because they were doing this. We had incredible conversations with my team this weekend, and we've been talking about the emergence. I mean, you say that families may be failing them, society may be failing them. The fact that what's happening, kids think it's more important to record something like this. Let's upload it and then the fame.
No, it's very disturbing, and we don't have laws that say you have a duty to intervene. There's no law that says that, but I think we need to have a discussion about the duty to report, the duty to call 911. At least do that at a minimum. If you can pick up your phone and record, then you could call 911, because as a society, we have more of an interest in protecting people from and preventing these violent crimes than the privacy interest of a bystander just being able to stand there and record.
Is there any kind of a Good Samaritan law?
No, not Good Samaritan's law really protect people who intervene, and somehow if someone gets hurt in the middle of that intervention, then they're protected. You can't be sued if you intervene and someone gets hurt because you're trying to help.
How about if you've taken your cell phone and you've videoed and you've uploaded and watched someone get beaten like this? Are you culpable in any way?
You're not culpable right now as our laws stand, but because of the result, I think of the number of these videos that are being uploaded and people stand and do nothing. They don't even call 911. I do think we're going to start having discussions about the duty to call 911. Now, there are special relationships, for example, school teachers. If you are work for the government as a prosecutor or a police officer, you have a duty, even if you're off duty, you have a duty to intervene. You have a duty to try to call 911, to assert yourself in these types of situations. But there were adults in this crowd as well who did nothing. How do you stand there and you let someone get beat for almost 3 minutes? This wasn't some quick fight, girls pulling hair. This was vicious. It lasted for almost 3 minutes, and those people stood there even while this child cowered on the ground and was stumped in the head at least 12 times.
I have no answer for you, but I thank you for the discussion. Judge Faith Jenkins, appreciate it.